Hey everybody, welcome back to Endeavor. Today we're gonna look and combine two of my favorite things. Concepts from the Knife Control Concepts program that we run, and then snap downs, because I love snap downs. So we're gonna talk about the idea of using a snap down, using push and pull energy to thwart a draw of a knife in the middle of this perspective. Right now, realistically, if somebody ever shows up in a rash guard and phalanx pants with a knife sticking out, disengage would be the main answer. However, imagine I'm finding myself, in a situation where this started as a scuffle. It could have started as a stupid brawl from an ego standpoint. It could have been that, I got hands on him. I noticed he had a knife as he was going. I stuffed it before we got into there, and we started getting into clinch grappling range, whether he knows what the hell he's doing or not. So from whatever perspective, we're in this range. Anytime that I'm in wrestling, in clinching, in striking, when the hands move away from the fight and start moving towards the center line, it's generally a bad sign. They're usually reaching for something else, right? So if we found ourselves in here and I'm working my way in and I'm thinking about striking or headbutting, whatever it is, and I notice his hands start to leave, one of the things I can do to thwart the draw is occupy his hands. And one of the ways that I can occupy his hands is by setting him off balance to the place where he feels he needs to put his hands down on the ground to base and balance. So if we come back into this and he lets go of the knife for a minute, we'll get to that, right? As we go in and we're hitting and boom, and I notice that hand moving away from the fight and I can snap him down to the floor, I've occupied his hands. The knife slides out of his pants. However, I've occupied his hands in this position because he needs them for base and balance. That can buy me time to turn and run away. That can turn open, expose. I can get weight over top of him and get control of the blade and the knife if he reaches for the knife for there. What I'm doing is I'm giving his hand a different job. I'm essentially taking priority over getting the knife out. Now, if he doesn't move his hand away from his knife, or if he already had his hand with a pretty decent grip on it, the same principles can still apply, right? If I'm in here and he gets his hand on the knife and he starts to draw it from here, now I can choose to stay here and wrestle. I can choose to punch, strike, run, all that type stuff. And I can also use this moment in time where if he's taking this blade out, moving it towards me, he's generally pushing. And so from that perspective, I can then use it to snap. So as I notice his hand gets away, he gets a good grip on it, the knife's out, oh shit, I can still snap him into the floor, occupy his hands into the ground for base and balance, keep control of his head, put myself in a better position to start to engage with the knife, however it is in your system you decide to do that, and work through that. So the concept overall benefit here is I'm giving his hands a different job, okay? It's similar to if I notice he's gonna go pull a knife out and I punch him in the face, I'm giving and changing the priority in his mind to come up and defend his head. So I'm giving his hands a job to do. So it's a really cool concept and understanding of how to use the snap down, how to use base and balance to control his hands, even though I'm not controlling his hands. So once again, no matter what the perspective is, boom, boom, I'm in, I start noticing that his hands are moving away, I get him down towards the floor, I occupy his body, I put myself in a better position to control into that transition. So when you're working through knife defense, you should be looking at it from knife is out, he's stabbing me, knife is out, he's threatening me. You should be looking at it from knife is not out yet, I'm getting it and drawing it out from a distance, what that looks like. You should be looking at, getting it from clinch range, opening up the way you approach knife defense, starting to get used to it. And if I'm clinched in and hands on, snapping somebody to the floor is a great way to occupy their hands, buy yourself a second, maybe more, where that blade is not engaged in the actual fight. So fun little piece of the puzzle to add into your stuff, play around with it, have some fun. See you guys next time.